in honor of Freddie Harper Williams. And as a follow up to the program yesterday, being a member of the Chi Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, and saluting the Final Womanhood Observance Committee consisting of Freddie Cudjoe, Emma June Green, Lola Greer, Flora Hamlin, Leontine Hempstead, Letty Ruth Hunter, Joyce Kimbrough, Alma Washington, Katie Watkins, Alice Winston, Esther Swain, Willie Rose, Evelyn Pittman, Laura Overton, Mary E. Nichols, Angela Maroney, and Evelyn Lee. I would like to join on behalf of KAEZ Radio and the Friends of the Clara Lupa Radio Show in saluting Freddie Harper Williams. It started with greetings from Mrs. Alma Washington. There was an invocation by Reverend Nathaniel Irvin and then a solo by the eminent Emma June Green. And it was a luncheon served as only Alberta can do it. Mrs. Willie Rose explained the occasion, going back through the history books of Zeta Phi Beta sorority. And then the curtains were ready to salute Freddie Harper Williams. The salute was done very eloquently in a unique fashion with Dr. Freddie Cudjoe as the narrator and pictures to back it up. She told the story of a woman who had dedicated her life to mankind. She described her in poetry, and the rendition by Emma June Green and Freddie Cudjoe stood out as the audience applauded. Then there were memory statements. Leroy Kirk from Tinkerfield related the experiences that Freddie Williams had had at Tinker and how her efficiency was the key to her moving up the ladder of success. Annalise Moore talked about Freddie Williams as a member of the Avery Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church. She told of her dedication to her church and the large number of committees that she had served on through the years. And Mr. Leonard Benton, from the executive director of the Urban League, related experiences that really stood out. He talked about Freddie Williams and what she was able to contribute to the Urban League and other organizations. State Representative Kevin Cox spoke of her as a fellow legislator and described how honored he was that he had the privilege to work with Representative Williams. Pat Potts told of the Freddie Williams that she knew, one that loved children and one that understood problems and could come in at the right time. Reverend Goree James related his experiences and his love for Freddie's, his respect for one that had given so much. Or it was related that Freddie Williams had taken what she had and made use of what she had. Jimmy Stewart described the problems that Freddie went through as she broke barriers at Tinker Airfield. Most people don't remember the day that they would not hire a person as a clerk typist because of the color of the skin. And Jimmy went back through the history books and described the relationship that existed between Freddie Williams and Roscoe Dungy, and how NAACP aided Freddie, but with her determination, she was able to make it anyway. Mrs. Juanita Harris described Freddie Williams and the experiences that she has had in working with her in the Amica, an auxiliary of Zeta Phi Beta sorority. Yes, Christine Pollard put it into poetry as she described the strength and dignity of Freddie Harper Williams. The governor of Oklahoma proclaimed it as Freddie Williams Day in the state of Oklahoma. Yes, we heard from the community yesterday. We saw love in the eyes and hearts of the people that attended that meeting. One person stated that Freddie Williams has paid her dues and she must enjoy the seeds of success. Zeta stated, today is probably the happiest day of my life because I have seen what Zeta is all about. Freddie was surrounded by her family, a husband, a son, and a daughter who also contributed to the musical part of the program. But the big moment came when Freddie Williams, with tears in her eyes, stood with her friends, her co-workers, members of the Zeta Phi Beta sorority, and say thanks. She said thanks to not only those that were there, because many people in Oklahoma City would have been there if they had only known about it, but she paid respect to her teachers. She looked out in the audience and saw Mrs. Young of Tabernacle Baptist Church and recognized her. In the audience, we saw such devoted friends as Mrs. Rita Tolliver and others that had come to honor Freddie Williams. So now what do we say today? What do we have to say? As a member of the Zeta Phi Beta sorority, I'm very happy to be a part of a sorority that continues to give flowers to people while they live. We cried with Freddie Williams yesterday. We laughed with Freddie Williams yesterday. We rejoiced with Freddie Williams yesterday. Little did we know that this morning Freddie Williams would lose her mother. Freddie Williams' mother died this morning. And it is only fitting for those of us that are fortunate to share and to live in the times that men and women that have made great contributions and they have paid their dues have lived, that we would stop and we would say thanks to God. We thank God for Freddie's mother. And yesterday we found out that Freddie was born in Mississippi and moved to Arkansas and then to Oklahoma. And we thank God. We thank God for the training that Freddie's mother and father gave to her, where today she stands out as one of the outstanding women of our times. Thank you, Freddie. May God bless you, and may the flowers and the gifts and things that were presented to you only remain as just a little more strength for you to carry on. Clara Luper reporting, KAEZ Radio in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Yes, this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I promised you the best, and I shall always give you the best. The best is not good enough for you because you are the most intelligent radio audience in the world. I started to say in the state of Oklahoma, but I know you're the top in the world. Today, I want you to stay with me because I do have some stories that I want you to know, and you can only know when you listen to the Clara Luper Radio Show because I touch the stories that no one else would dare touch. For months, I've been telling you about Orange and Sons Trucking and Construction Company. Now, I would like for you to drive between Northeast to 16th Street on Eastern to Northeast 23rd Street, and I want you to look at the work of Orange and Sons. I want you to see that paving. I want you to see how they specialize in parking lots. I want you to go by there, and once you go by there, be sure and tell me that you saw it. Orange and Sons Trucking and Construction Company specialize in new construction, expert repairs, complete overlay service, paint stripping. I want you, if you're talking about landfills, if you're talking about excavating and landscaping needs, if you're talking about moving red dirt, topsoil, sand, rock, shale, call Joe Orange The telephone number is 769-4052. And be sure and tell him you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. Only the best for you. And certainly you get the best when you deal with Orange and Sons Trucking and Construction Company. As we salute people across the nation, I don't know anybody that deserves flowers any more than Jesse Jackson. I am so proud of Jesse Jackson and those black people in Norfolk, Virginia, those black people in South Carolina and Mississippi. I am proud of the blacks and the whites and the rainbow colors that supported Jesse Jackson. It was on this station at the beginning of election 1984 when I asked you a basic question. People have been calling me and asking me, what did I think of Jesse Jackson running? Was it time for a black man to run? And all of that kind of stuff. I made my position clear that it is time for black people to do anything that they want to do. I want to make that clear. At that time, I pointed out to you in Radio Land that was wrestling with what Jesse Jackson was going to do. I told you that the qualifications of the presidency is stated in the United States Constitution. It states very clearly and very plainly that to run for president of the United States, you need basically three things. First, you must be born in the United States. Jesse Jackson fits that description. Secondly, you must be a citizen consecutively for 14 years. Jesse fits that qualification. And then you must be 35 years of age at the time that you are sworn in as president. Jesse Jackson fits that description. Now, if you have any questions about Jesse Jackson's qualifications, then you should get your history book and do some reading. I ask you to read the qualifications of James Buchanan, the 15th President of the United States, and don't stop there. Read about Chester Arthur. Go a step further. Read about Andrew Johnson, whose wife had to teach him how to read. Read about Ulysses S. Grant, who continued to drink just a little too much. I want you to read and understand your history before you start talking about what Jesse Jackson should or should not do. Now, what Jesse Jackson has done that has astounded the world, he has stood up and he has said to the world that I am a man, I am somebody, and I am running for president of the United States because I fit the qualifications and I have the determination. And speaking of that, I want to tell Calvin about my precinct meeting. Once upon a time, blacks didn't get to vote because they were not citizens, and then they didn't vote because of the poll tax, the grandfather's clause, and come on down the line, the literacy test and all of that. But here we came up with something altogether different. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you what happened in your state. In the state of Oklahoma, let's talk about Oklahoma County. They threw all of the precincts at each other. For example, at Millwood School, you could hardly find parking facilities. They had the precincts located out in Spencer, out in Jones. All of those people had to come to Oklahoma City. Why do you think that was possible? Why do you think they changed? It was a time when your precinct meetings were held in your neighborhood. But Calvin, our precinct meeting was just like a jungle at Millwood School. Nobody knew what to do. You went in and you had to yell. It was completely, as I saw it, it was an attempt on the part of the organizers of the precinct to get rid of a large number of minorities that would have been there and would have supported Jesse Jackson. Now tell me about your precinct.
Oh, my precinct meeting was beautiful. It was a mess.
Beautiful, and it was a mess. That's really something.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful because I was glad to see such a large number of people take the interest in today's politics. Not only, I think that the fact that Jesse Jackson was running for president added to the attendance, but other than that, I was just proud to see that many people there. I regret that somewhere down the line, nobody in the Democratic Party, nobody that attended the meeting there at the at Moon School at 13th and Eastern had the foresight to see that there was a need to divide up into those specific precincts. We are one big family, but when you meet like that, then there comes a time that there's a little bit of privacy. I was a little upset at the fact at the way it ran. Unfortunately, I happened to be in a particular precinct where the person that was chairing the meeting had a very soft voice, and it was very difficult to hear over the din of the noise at the other precinct meetings. But other than that, I was quite impressed because of the fact for the first time since I've been voting, I was able to see a large number of people come out and show a sincere interest. Now, the Millwood people, I've always heard that they always attend regularly.
Well,
but
see,
down at ours, sometimes there's been 10, sometimes there's been 5. But this time it was good to see the involvement and the desire to be involved. But more important than that, Mom, I'm glad that we was there, and I look forward to what the state meeting is going to be like.
Well, Calvin, I was happy that so many people turned out, but I could not see why people couldn't attend meetings in their own precinct. For example, we were all in the gym.
At Millwood, you didn't have a chance to get your little precinct together in a corner?
But who was going to tell us where our precinct was?
You didn't have number signs?
We did not have number signs. The signs were on the table, which meant that unless you went from table to table, you would not have known where to go. And I saw Reverend Park and his group coming in. They had to drive in from Spencer, Oklahoma, to attend a precinct meeting.
At Millwood.
Which means that those people that did not have automobiles, those people that did not have money to buy gasoline did not come, and they were left out. But I'm proud of my precinct.
Maybe the Democratic Party nowadays is thinking of the fact that if you don't have an automobile and if you can't afford to get a ride, then you don't deserve to vote. Maybe that's why they had the precinct meetings like that.
But one thing that happened in my precinct, I'm very proud of my precinct because Jesse Jackson got all the votes in my precinct. And there were 4 whites in my precinct. And most of the whites moved out of our area due to school integration. We had a great migration of whites out. So when they moved out, we have always had precinct meetings, and we've gone along with their selection for president. So they were with the Hart people. And I say, now look, white folks.
Is that H-E-A-R-T?
Yes. I say, now, white folks, we've been voting with you all the time. Come on, vote with us. And they started telling me about what couldn't happen. Jesse can't win. I say, now, we voted for Carter last time, and Carter sure didn't beat Nixon. Didn't beat Reagan, but we voted for him, and they wouldn't change it. It was so funny. We had 3 blacks in our precinct that had to stay with Hart. They couldn't leave Hart, and they didn't know. And now, could they leave Mundale? And one thing about Mundale, I interviewed him in Louisville, Kentucky. You remember Calvin?
Yeah, I do.
When he was vice president of the United States, and I asked Mundale a question. Mundale was talking about his affirmative action program and what they were doing, and I said to the vice president, I said, Mr. President of the Senate, how many blacks do you have on your staff?
And what was his answer to that question?
Mundale looked at me real funny, and I stated my name, Clara Looper, KAZ Radio, Oklahoma City. How many blacks do you have on your staff? Well, when Mundale got through telling me how many blacks he had on his staff, I knew that was not my guy. He had 0 blacks on his staff.
That was while he was vice president.
And to see black people around here hustling for Mundale just tickled me to death. And Hart comes from Colorado. I need not tell you the rest of the story. But anyway.
So many things are happening, Mom. I was just wondering what happened at the next precinct meeting.
Well, the next precinct meeting will not be until the next 2 years.
Next 2 years.
But one thing
I bet they have them all in the same big old wide open building.
No, it's going to be different.
That way you never have a chance to state your opinion.
It's going to be different where we can sit down in our precinct and get ready for the election. Now, our next move is the county, and at the county it's going to be quite interesting.
I think that the Democratic Party needs to take lessons from the Zeta Phi Beta sorority and need to find out how to organize things and do things. Because you Zetas doing your final womanhood celebration, that was outstanding. And you hit the nail on the head. You gave credit to a person where credit was due. You gave flowers to where there was fresh running water. So right on. I hope us Democrats can learn that, even if a lot of the black women I know aren't Zetas, but they could learn from what Zetas have done.
Well, one thing I can say about the Democrats in Oklahoma, they can fool some of the black folks, but they sure won't fool me because I noticed I've been looking at Governor Nye and his parole system and how
Governor George
Nye. I've been noticing.
Don't talk about.
I'm not going to talk about the governor. I'm only saying that I've been looking at Governor George Nye, and I want to ask all those black people that have been carrying those placards for Governor Nye, how many blacks has Governor Nye appointed as judges in the state of Oklahoma? Now I know he has appointed 2 white women to very important positions. But I want to ask all of those Nye I don't know what to call
Well,
them.
now, I'm not going to let you talk about my governor.
But
That's
I'm
the
telling
man
you-
that's responsible for raising my taxes this year. And I want you to know I'm very proud of the fact that he's raised my taxes so high that I hope I can pay him.
Well, one thing, Calvin, I want to say about your governor, and I'd like to correct you historically. The governor didn't raise the tax.
Yeah, he helped, didn't he?
He helped, but it was
Well,
the
and
legislature that
historically, let's
passed
be
it. He
right.
wanted. He didn't get it when he wanted it.
He
But one
didn't.
thing I can say about Governor Nye, he has shown and demonstrated to the black people in Oklahoma what he thought about them. Now, of all the governors in the United States, Governor Nye has not appointed one black person as a judge. Now, if anybody got any other information about Governor Nye appointing someone in a position, when the majority of the people in Oklahoma that's in prison are black, yet you don't have a black judge. I just want somebody to come up and tell me that. Now, I know some of those Nye people are going to go and tell Governor Nye that Clara Luper said, you don't have to tell him because I've told him myself. Nobody has to tell Governor Nye, and Governor Nye knows that he has not treated the black people right in appointing a black person, not one black judge.
Well, let's look at it like this. Maybe one day Governor Nye will take time out on his Sunday
One day.
afternoon and come out here and be on a
I
visit
sure
with
would
Clara
like for him to
Luper
come out. First
and
question.
tell you about the number of black people that he has appointed to influential positions and make decisions. You know, not paper pushers, but decision makers.
The first question I would ask Governor Nye, Governor Nye, Your Honor, yeah, I know that you have moved blacks just like moving dominoes, moving the same blacks up, but I want to know how many black judges have you appointed since you've been governor of Oklahoma?
Well, Sister Clara, let's go on and talk about something else.
Well,
Let's talk about something more
Did you
important.
realize that if it had not been for Governor Bartlett, we never would have heard of Charles Owens as a judge?
Was that a Republican
That
governor?
was a Republican governor, Governor
Are you
DeWitt Bartlett.
insinuating to your intelligent radio listening audience that instead of continuing to vote for Democrats, that we should take time out and see what the Republicans have done?
No, I'm
including Reagan?
I'm only talking about facts. I didn't say anything about Reagan, Calvin.
I
Don't
just
put that
asked-
on me.
no,
I
I'm just
say
asking.
that we have not had a black judge appointed since Governor Bartlett appointed Judge Owens. Now, I want you to put that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right, well, I have my matches now. We'll go on.
Okay, and speaking of going on, let's go get us some fish out the Inland Shores. The Seafood Market, Restaurant, and Club, 6749 East Reno in Heritage Park Mall. Out at Inland Shores, you will find a new concept of dining pleasure. We're going to provide Oklahoma with the romance, the allure, and atmosphere of the ocean shores. Nothing has been spared to provide you with the same pleasures you would normally travel hundreds of miles to enjoy. Never before has anyone combined so many features with only customers' needs in mind. I want you to do me a favor this week. I want you to go to Inland Shores, 6749 East Reno in Heritage Park Mall, Midwest City, Oklahoma. Now, the telephone number is 732-2623, and they are open every day in the week. Calvin, we've talked about the precinct meeting. We've talked about the governor
Are
of
you going
Oklahoma.
to go back to another precinct meeting in 2 years?
I
you think?
never miss a precinct meeting. I wouldn't dare miss my precinct meeting.
Even if the way it was organized?
Well, what we're going to do as Democrats, we're going to see that we get back into our precincts, which is the smallest concept, meetings where everybody will have a chance to attend. Now, out of my precinct, we have 12 votes, and we have 12 delegates to the county, and we are going for Jesse Jackson. So,
Well, in my precinct, we decided to go for Jesse Jackson.
oh, well, that's good.
And there
I
were
bet
9 or
yours
10.
was split. How many was your
Ours
your
was beautiful.
precinct?
We had
was
some
it
people.
split? Was your precinct split?
Now you know it was. There was a Jesse Jackson contingency of about 40 of us.
Okay.
40
But
young,
that was
beautiful.
57.
It was a beautiful mixture for our precinct. You know, there in 199, we had a very good turnout, and we voted the way we felt. However, there were some people that voted for Hart. I was glad. So there were some people that were definite about Mondale. But one thing about it, we got it together. And you hear about us at
Okay,
the
and
county.
we'll see you at the
hear about
county.
us at the state. You know, you make sure that your precinct is well
But my
represented. Even
precinct
though
was-
we was in a big old wide room, we was able to get our thing together. And we look forward to going there and letting people know how we feel about Jesse Jackson, the Rainbow Coalition. But more important than that, we look forward to letting people know how we feel, how our vote is going to go this particular year.
Well, we have a lot of people that have been sucking the Jim Crow titty so long until they really, the Democratic Jim Crow
Well,
titty.
tell me that again now,
I say
please.
that we have a lot of people that have been sucking the Democratic Jim Crow titty so long until they don't think that anything else is important. They think they just have to stay with who some white person or some person that's not interested in telling you to do. We have an opportunity to stand up and say to the world that we are Democrats and we can vote just like we want to. You know, I have some fond memories of the Democrats.
I can't imagine because, I mean, you kind of threw me off there. But then the Democratic Party has been an advantageous party for blacks during particular times during our history. The Republican Party played an important role during the early days of slavery. But since then, it seems like that the Republican Party has done more to enslave us than the Democratic Party has. So I may be one of those persons that is hung up on the Democratic Jim Crow titty.
Yeah.
You know, that may be one of my hang-ups. And I think I will vote Democratic because I'm sick of the Reaganomics and I'm ready for something else. And I hope that Jesse Jackson, by some miracle, some great act of God, shorter than a tornado or atomic war, is elected our next president of the United States.
Well, Ronald Reagan showed you what he cared about you in Oklahoma. I haven't heard of one black woman get the job for on the Ronald Reagan team, and I haven't seen her back here in a long time.
Well, I don't blame her because it's probably easier living in D.C.
than
it is here.
We'll get on
We'll
Ronald
talk
Reagan.
about that later on.
We'll
There's
get
more
on them
coming
later
up.
because after all, we were not talking about the Republicans. We got them in the bag. We know what all Reagan has cut, and he has cut. Reagan has some scissors. He's really cutting. But this is a Clara Luper radio show, KAEZ Radio in Oklahoma City, and it's certainly Miss Black Oklahoma time throughout the state of Oklahoma. I'm happy to announce that Mr. Anderson, the founder of the Miss Black America pageant, which this year will be held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, extend congratulations to the people in Oklahoma. Now, here's a surprise for you. Oklahoma will have the largest state pageant. Now, I want you to listen to this. Oklahoma will have the largest state pageant in the United States. So far, we have 31 cities represented, and I would like to introduce you to these cities. The Village will be represented in the state pageant on June 9th, and those of you that want to attend that pageant, I want you to be sure and get your tickets early because with the large number of representatives we have, your tickets are going to be hard. It's going to be tough to get a ticket. The Village will be represented by Gayla Dawn, Dell City by Angela Butler, Britain by Rhonda Liggins, Anadarko, Sharna Coffey, Arcadia, Extranella Doolan, Luther, Anita Cook, Green Pastures, Renee Fontenot, Nakoma Park, Gloria Fullman, Moore, Oklahoma, Theresa Lester, Choctaw, Oklahoma, Sharita Johnson, Claremore, Oklahoma, Rogers Junior College, Trenda Martin, Langston University, Sheila Harris, Spencer, Oklahoma, Tondilio Burge, Oklahoma University, Damarius Anderson, Muskogee, Oklahoma, Lisa Anderson, Northeast A&M College, Jadunda Hatter, Spring Lake Park, Rosie Bowie, Oklahoma State University, Teresa Ann Kane, Cato County, Leandra Richard, the Cato County, and I want to emphasize that Cato County will be represented by Leandra Richard. On next Saturday night, Shawnee, Oklahoma will select their Miss Black Shawnee. Ardmore, Oklahoma will select their Miss Black Ardmore on next Saturday night. And incidentally, we do have a representative from Carter County for the first time this year. And one of the promoters, Mrs. Wallace, is here with me today, and you must tell me that we are going to have a pageant in Wewoka, Oklahoma.
Yes, Clara. Good evening, radio listening audience. This is Lou Wallace, and I am proud to represent my hometown, Wewoka, Oklahoma, in this year's pageant.
For a minute there, I thought you were the contestant. Are you a contestant in the pageant?
No,
I'm going to call Johnny Jones. I'm going to call Johnny Jones.
I'm representing Wewoka because it is my hometown.
Okay,
I'm very proud.
It's Alexander Jones's hometown, too. It's Johnny Jones's hometown. So many people from Wewoka under live. Okay, Carl Kemp is from Wewoka. That's right. Okay, tell me about what happened in Wewoka yesterday.
All right. I've been working in Wewoka for 2 weeks now, Clara, and I have 3 contestants that are just
Three contestants from Wewoka.
Yes.
Okay,
They're
I would like to know.
outstanding.
They are outstanding. You have all of these contestants I've just called are outstanding.
And these are no exception. They will
Okay.
not take a second seat.
Okay.
They are Tammy Thompson, she's 19. We have Monica Leo, she is 18. And we have Anitra Myers, she's 19. These young ladies will represent Wewoka in their pageant on Friday the 13th.
Oh, your pageant is on Friday the 13th of May.
April.
Friday the 13th of April. That's right. We won't have any pageants in May because we will have this pageant coming up in Tulsa. All right. And Chickasha's pageant will be next week, too.
Wewoka's theme for.
But one thing about Miss Black Oklahoma, we don't have any competition because I hate to tell you this, but I might as well let you know out in Radio Land that the best pageant in Oklahoma is the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant. Now, it's no if and and about it. Look at the records. Look at the attendance. We have this is our 15th year, and you couldn't stay in business 15 years if you were not producing. How about that?
I love it. I love it. I enjoy working with these young ladies. They are so beautiful and so intelligent. We have just must take our hats off to them. And on June 9th, I am asking all of you, Wewoka, Oklahoma City, the whole state, to attend this pageant because you are going to be very, very proud.
The pageant on June 9th, the state pageant, will be televised, and very important that you be there and in your seats and be ready at 7:30 p.m. But you're talking about beauty, Mrs. Wallace. I would like certainly today to salute the finalists in the Miss Oklahoma City pageant. We have this year selected some young ladies that you out in Radio Land will be so proud of. That on April the 14th, you will crowd the Quality Inn to make your selection. Trina Lewis, Nola Dungy, Deletta Samilton, Tanny Hubbard, Christy Booker, and Jacqueline Hayes. I want you in Oklahoma City to put your arms around these beautiful, talented young ladies. Because anytime a young lady can hold her head up, you see, the requirements for Miss Black is pretty stiff. You cannot have had a baby, you must have high morals, and you must have some goals in your life. And it's really commendable. And I have today two of these beautiful young ladies here with me today. And I want my radio audience to meet them and look at their dreams and their hopes and aspirations. I am so proud of these young people because we don't own any oil wells. We don't own any big corporations. What we have, that's our children, our dreams and our hopes. And last week I had the Douglas Trojans who will be escorting not only the finalists in the Oklahoma City contest, but the young ladies that are coming in from over the state to the Oklahoma City pageant. The Oklahoma Douglas state champions will be escorting them. But today I have with me Miss Deletta Samilton. How are you today, Deletta?
I'm fine, Miss Wilbur. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm really fine today, and
Yay.
I'm so happy that you're here as my special guest today. I wanted you to come back because I wanted to talk to you about you. I wanted to know, what are your goals in life? Where are you going, Deletta?
Well, Miss Luper, my goals in life are one of which is to become an independent television producer. I would also like to be owner of a radio station, and I would also like to involve myself in a lot of different ways that I could help out the black community and the community in general in which I would be living in. So I'm very much oriented toward community service.
And you're going to do that. Now, in order to achieve that goal, you've already finished high school.
Yes, I have.
Where did you finish high school?
Well, actually, I went to high school at Booker T. Washington in Tulsa.
Oh, I see. So you're a product of the Tulsa school system.
Yes, I am.
Well, Tulsa has just notified me that they are coming over here on June 9th to win the state pageant again. They won it last year through Lisa Landra.
Yes, I went to high school with Lisa Landry.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Really? Have you had any drama or dancing or singing experience?
Yes, I have. I had 2 years of repertory theater in high school. I've also had 2 years of vocal training, and I've had 9 years of professional dance lessons. I've taken tap, jazz, and ballet.
Now, what are you going to do for your talent in the Miss Oklahoma City pageant?
My talent for the Miss Oklahoma City pageant will consist of a song and a dance.
What song are you going to sing?
I am going to sing an interlude to a song composed, written, and arranged by a current performer, a current musician. His name is George Duke.
That should be quite interesting. I know being in a pageant is a lot of hard work because you really got to keep up your schoolwork and on. How are you managing it?
Well, actually, I'm not in school right now, but I do have 8 hours left at the University of Oklahoma that I plan on finishing this summer. I'm working right now at Oklahoma City Community College, and I'm taking classes there to better myself and to prepare for going back to school at OU this summer.
Okay, now what kind of classes are you taking at Oklahoma City Community Center?
I am currently taking a class in cable television production and also aerobics to prepare for the Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant.
Well, that's really interesting. Do you realize that if you are able to win Miss Black Oklahoma City on April the 14th, you will represent nearly 500,000 people in the Miss Black Oklahoma State pageant? How do you feel meeting 29 other young ladies that will be here? I think we have a total of 30. How do you feel about it?
Mrs. Looper, I'm very excited about it. Actually, I think it will be a wonderful experience. It will test me. I will have to be positive. I will have to really believe in myself and that I can do it. And the bottom line is to have a lot of fun and meet a lot of very fun, interesting young ladies.
Well, you will, and you will meet some handsome young men because that Douglas Championship team will be the first group that you will meet, and it's going to be out of sight. Thank you so very kindly for being my guest. And incidentally, you are selling tickets and ads in order that you'll be represented.
Yes,
and
I am.
why don't you tell some of your friends out there how they can get in contact with you, because I know they want some tickets.
All my friends, I'm sure you're tired of me right now bugging you about those tickets, but I'm going to keep bugging you until you buy them from me. You can reach me at Oklahoma City Community College during the day, and you can reach me at home at night.
All right, then. Well, thank you so very kindly. I have another beautiful young lady here. And your name, please?
Christy Booker.
Christy Booker, you're a very beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
Who are your parents?
My mother is Miss Ernestine Booker, and my father is Marcellus Booker.
Well, that's quite interesting. How did you get involved in the pageant?
Well, my mother had found out about that the pageant is this year, and I decided that I really want to get into something that will make myself feel more comfortable and relaxed and stuff. And I decided that I should try to get off into something that I've never done before.
Well, it seems exciting. What do you think about the other girls in the pageant?
I think they're very nice, young, talented young ladies, and I think that it's been nice meeting them and stuff.
All right, now, Christy, let's talk about Christy. What are your goals and your ambitions in life?
Well, after high school, I plan to attend OSU to major in accounting.
Oh, that's good. You have a good mathematical background?
Yes, it's pretty good. I plan to make it a lot better when I go to college. And
Oh,
stuff.
you're going to do better when you go to college. You're going to make it better.
Yes.
Now, Calvin has a question for you. He's always ready to ask my contestants questions. Okay, Calvin.
Mom, you're right. I love beauty. Christy, I'd like to ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you think that you can be a winner? Do you think that you can be Miss Black Oklahoma City?
Yes, I think I can because I have enough confidence in myself to get out there and perform my best that I can, and I think I can become a winner.
Well, I'd like to ask this other young lady that. And Miss, what was your name again?
Deletta Hamilton?
Deletta, do you think that you can be Miss Black Oklahoma City?
Yes, I do. I think I could be Miss Black Oklahoma City. I think I would do an excellent job representing the people of Oklahoma City.
All right, let's go on.
All right, now, Christy, I know you're out and you would like to have a large number of people there to cheer you on
Yes,
to
I would.
victory. But why don't you invite your friends and relatives and all to be a part of it?
Well, I like to tell all my friends and relatives that I would like you out there in the audience supporting me and helping me out there. It would really be nice for me to see your faces out there.
Well, I would like to back up what these young ladies are saying. Now, I am not going to let Tulsa produce a better souvenir book than Oklahoma City. And I'm asking those of you with any kind of business interest to get behind Miss Black Oklahoma City. This is your city. These are your young ladies, and I want your support. I want those of you that want tickets. You may call us out here at 4243376. And incidentally, I do have 5 tickets to give away today. And the first person that calls us out here and tell us that you want a ticket from one of these beautiful young ladies, I will give you a ticket, and that would mean that you would get 2 for 1. The regular admission tickets are $7.50. It will be held at the Quality Inn Central, April the 14th at 7:30 p.m. The telephone number is 424-3376. Now, we have some standard people like Mrs. Alice Winston, Mrs. Lee, and others that buy tickets every year. Well, anyway, we have 5 tickets to give away this evening, and certainly we would like to have your support. Oklahoma City, we need your support. I think Miss Black Oklahoma always spend money in the black community and the white community. We spend money, and we expect support. All we know we'll have to do is to ask you. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you in on a secret, because I really don't want Letty Ruth Hunter to know about this, so you don't have to tell her. But on May 26th, we are going to honor Letty Ruth Hunter with a retirement dinner. Letty Ruth is retiring after years of dedication to young people in Oklahoma. And I belong to that school of thought in giving people flowers while they live, because I don't want you resolving after I die. I resolve to do this. You just resolve to support me now, and I'll be satisfied when I die. But I want those of you, we don't know all of you, and those of you that would like to be a part of the Letty Ruth Hunter's retirement dinner, please call Mrs. Thelma Parks, Mr. John Sadberry, Mrs. Esther Swain, or Mrs. Alice Strain, Mrs. Elnora Cooper, Douglas, or call me. And I have agreed to serve as general chairperson of that dinner because of the respect that I have for Letty Ruth Hunter. I have some good news for you. On Thursday night, you will have the opportunity to be a part of the movie Brother President, the story of Martin Luther King Jr. I would like to invite all of you to be at the St. John's Baptist Church located at 5700 North Kelly at exactly 7 p.m. We are filming the last church scene that Martin Luther King took a part in. I am calling Mr. Ivory Butler tomorrow and Mr. Thompson, and I'm extending a special invitation to the people that work in the street department and the sanitation department. I would like to have at least 50 sanitation workers that will come in work clothes so we can make this scene as realistic as possible. Martin Luther King will deliver that I've been to the mountaintop speech, and that would be quite an honor. Those of you that have narration parts, we would like to see you. That's Thursday at the St. John's Baptist Church. And so many of you have asked me, what are you to do? You are to be there in order that we can film you. And we will give you your instructions, because most of you out there are movie stars anyway. We saw that at Allen Chapel. We saw it at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. We've seen it in the street. Now, we have only a few scenes left to shoot, and that's the assassination scene that will be shot at a local motel. We have a marching scene that will be shot at the Northeast Shopping Center. And then I want you to put this date down now, because we're going to have to depend on you to help us advertise this. The play, Brother President, will open at the Tower Theater on Northwest to 23rd Street. May 17th is the premiere night. That's the night that people will come out in their long dresses, and these are the people that will salute, and you get to hug and kiss the movie stars. The movie stars will come in on red carpet, and things will really jump. That's at the Tower Theater. Now, I want you to write that down, and you'll be able to see yourself and those fine musicians under the leadership of Leonardo DeBose and others that will be part of this film. Calvin, you have some winners here. Tell me about it.
You're absolutely right. We have Miss Chiquita Dumas had called, Miss Bobby Johnson, Miss P. Washington. I'm not going to try to pronounce your first name, Miss P. Washington. Also, Bobby Battle called, and he called within that first 5, and he won a ticket at Bobby's Lucky. But I don't know. We may not give Bobby a ticket.
Oh, we're going to give Bobby a ticket. You're not going to discriminate against
But
Bobby.
he also said congratulations on an outstanding show. But then so many things have happened this week, and I'm quite proud of the Miss Black Oklahoma contestants. I'm quite proud of the Z5B Final Womanhood celebration. But more important than that, I know Mrs. Letty Ruth Hunter is getting ready to come up with something exciting sometime.
No,
in the
she's
near
not
future.
doing it. We are doing it. Letty
Well-
Ruth Hunter told me that we had better not do it.
Well,
And I
well,
told
that
Letty Ruth
that
Hunter
that
she
is
can't
coming up.
control
I
all
look
of
forward to it. I'm just waiting and going to the mailbox every day, waiting on my invitation to come through.
The invitations will be mailed out on the last day in March. So
Well-
everybody should get their invitations on either April Fool's Day.
Well, I
but-
better make sure I get
in
mine. I don't want it
December.
on no April Fool Day because I got something special I want to give Miss Hunter for just having been such an outstanding teacher during her career from Langston through Douglas and up to today.
Well, she's certainly a good teacher. I can tell you that for sure because she continues to teach all of the time. But anyway, we don't care about that now. We know she's retiring and she can spend time with her husband and family between all the other things that she will be doing. But if you want to play some bingo, I'm talking about playing some real bingo. Go to the House of Bingo, 3613 North Everett Street. It's open 6 days a week from 7 to 11 p.m. and you can play at 11 a.m. Mr. George Singer, one of the great supporters of the Miss Black pageant, says that he is all ready for the state pageant and he's certainly going to support the Oklahoma City pageant. That's why it's important that you play bingo at a place where people will help you and your children. Go to the House of Bingo, 3613 North Everett Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Congratulations to the 1984 Miss Black Oklahoma City contestants from Seals Cleaners, 3617 North Everett Street here in Oklahoma City. Take your clothes in at 8 a.m. and pull them out at 8 p.m. Sir Charles the Tailor, located at 6225 Southeast 15th Street. Telephone number is 733-7600. It's time now for you to go in and measure for your spring fashion clothes. If you want to really look fit, you want to bring the best out, go to Sir Charles the Tailor, 6225 Southeast 15th Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The M&W Welding Company has moved on Northeast to 23rd Street, and you've got to go by. As you turn the circle on Northeast 23rd Street, after you pass Grand Boulevard, look out for the M&W Welding Company and be sure and call Mr. Merlin McGarry. Now for our funeral and death announcements come Mrs. Letty Ruth Hunter.
The Temple Funeral Home announces the following death announcements. Reverend Booker T. Combs, 3400 North Spring Lake Drive. His services will be at 11 Saturday at St. John Baptist Church. Mr. Virgin, they refer to him as V.T. Smith, 1612 Northeast 39th Street. Services will be at the Temple Funeral Home at 2 p.m. Monday. Mr. Charles Richardson, 1136 Belvedere Drive. His services will be 11 Tuesday at the Metropolitan Baptist Church. Mrs. Lucy Russell, 1712 Northeast 55th Street. Her services will be 11 Thursday at the Holy Temple Baptist Church. Mr. Willie B. Winston, 4810 North Lottie. His services will be 11 Friday at the Wilshire Church of Christ. Those are the ones from Temple. Ross Funeral Home announces Mr. Leon Phillips at 1700 North Anderson Avenue. The services will be 11 o'clock Saturday. 11 o'clock Saturday. I believe that's right. Services from the McKay and Davis's. His services will be 11 o'clock at the 5th Street Baptist Church. Mr. Leon Phillips at 1700 North Anderson Avenue will be Monday at 11 at the 5th Street Baptist Church. McKay and Davis Funeral Home announces Mr. Elmer Gibson at 1700 East Myers. His services is pending. Mrs. Lula Vaughn. Mrs. Lula Vaughn is Representative Williams' mother. Her services will be at 1 p.m. on Thursday at Avery Chapel. Her address is 1116 Northeast 16th Street. Representative Williams' mother, Mrs. Vaughn. Mrs. Frances Day at 3221 Northeast 11. The services is pending. She passed Sunday, which is today. Mr. Henderson, who lives at 1409 North 39th Street, who passed also today. His services is pending. I'd like to leave this message to all of the bereaved families. What a friend we have in Jesus. Oh, what a friend we have. All we have to do is depend and give our prayers to him.
Betty, when you told us that Mr. Virgil Thomas Smith was dead and his services will be tomorrow at Temple. Many of you will remember V.T. Smith as a man that was born in Vernonville, Oklahoma, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Elmo Smith. Many of you will remember him because he was educated in the Ardmore school system and in Oklahoma City public schools. Many of you will remember him because he saw combat in the United States Army at French Haven, New Guinea, and received an honorable discharge. You will also remember him as a staunch family man, an excellent hunter, an expert marksman and fisherman. He was well known for his ready smile and imaginative personality while employed at American and Trans World Airlines. You will remember him because he would always greet you with a smile, and he always used to tease me about, Mrs. Looper, where are you going now? V.T. Smith was well known for his fair treatment and his love for all mankind and animals. But on Wednesday, March 21st, at Weber's Falls, Oklahoma, after he had caught a 25-pound fish, Mr. V.T. Smith went home to be with God. So today we would like for you to know that we loved Mr. Virgil T. Smith. And he will always be remembered by those of us that knew him best. He is survived by a stepmother, Mrs. Clotilde Tolles of Ardmore, Oklahoma, 2 sons, Mr. Virgil P. Smith and Mr. Lamont D. Smith, 2 daughters, Mrs. Paulette J. McLean and Miss Iria M. Smith, all of Oklahoma City, 4 brothers, Elmer Tolles of Lawton, Elmer Tolles Jr. of Vernonville, Oklahoma, Frank Tolles of Arkansas, and Julius P. Smith of Oklahoma City. He has 4 sisters, Patsy Jones, Margaret Smith, Virgil Strotterborough, and Joanne Tolles, all of Ardmore. We would like for you to know, and we would like for you to remember, Mr. Virgil T. Smith, a friend of all mankind, and certainly we join in sympathy because we have lost a great person.
I'd like to tell you again about Mr. Leon Phillips. His services will be at 11 at 5th Street Baptist Church, and his address is 1700 North Alice Street.
Mrs. Helen Stevens' funeral will be Monday at Langston, Oklahoma at the New Hope Baptist Church. She's a sister of Dr. Louise Coleman, former instructor teacher at Langston University. Her burial will be in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. And incidentally, she was Melvin Porter's English teacher in Okmulgee. Michael Calloway funeral will be at the Pollard Chapel, and incidentally, that funeral was held at 11 a.m. yesterday. Johanna Bruner's funeral services pending at the Pollard Funeral Home.
Regretfully, hate to see a brother like Virgil Smith go, because one of the highlights of knowing Virgil not only was the encouragement that he consistently gave me over the past 25 years since he's been knowing me, but I remember one time I was coming back in Oklahoma City and I came through the airport and my luggage wasn't up to par. Virgil pulled me to the side. He said, "Calvin, the next time you come through this airport, I want you to have some new luggage." Sure enough, I went out and was able to get me some new luggage. Virgil was very close to me, and I feel like a part of me is gone. But I want the family to know that those of us on here at the radio show, those of us here at the radio station, want them to know that we sympathize and empathize with them.
This is a Clara Luper radio show, and I would like to tell you that Mr. and Mrs. Walter Roth did it again, and they did it for the first time, and incidentally it was a wedding of the century with Greta Janetta marrying Mr. Abraham Rucker, and this was held yesterday at the Bishop W. Angie Smith Chapel, and I will be telling you more about that because certainly that was one wedding that you really need to know about. A wedding is a private thing, but anytime a Roth get married, that's not private because everybody's interested in what happens to the Roths. I would like for you to write down these dates for me. I expect you to be at Miss Black Oklahoma City Pageant April the 14th. The Soul Bazaar is May 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Merritt Convention Center. Now, Mrs. Hunter, this is our 15th year with Miss Black Oklahoma and the 15th year of the Soul Bazaar. Aren't you happy?
I'm definitely happy, Mrs. Looper. Just think, it's 15, and we can talk about the number of years that we have been working with these two fine establishments. I'm happy to have been associated with the Soul Bazaar and also with Miss Black Oklahoma City and Miss Black Oklahoma. And because we've had some beautiful girls, we've had some beautiful talents, and we've had girls who have really gone and made accomplishments from being in the Miss Oklahoma pageant.
Well, certainly we are proud of these young ladies. And incidentally, one of our news reporters, Malachi Brown, is celebrating his birthday today. He is 12 years old, and he's having a party over to his grandmother's. And incidentally, I have a thank you note here from Onita Brown, who would like to thank you for remembering her during the days of her illness that was followed, as a result of an accident. Onita said, I just don't know how to thank you, and I want to especially thank my church, the Wildwood Baptist Church, and all my friends. They have just been wonderful. But speaking of being wonderful, Oklahoma City has been good to me, and I would like to thank Oklahoma City because Clara Luper is not one of these self-made blacks. I'm Clara Luper because whatever I do, you have done it. That's why I want to see you at the St. John's Baptist Church at exactly 7 p.m. on Thursday. Now, I want you to be looking good like you always do. That's Thursday night. Don't go up there Thursday in the daytime. Go Thursday night at 7 p.m.
And Thursday night is the 29th.
The 29th. Dr. W.K. Jackson going to be in this movie. I can see Dr. W.K. Jackson stepping out now. Now, if you think enough of yourself to want to see yourself in the movie, Brother President, the story of Martin Luther King, written by someone from Langston University in Grayson, Oklahoma, I want you to come out. Say, Mrs. Hunter, I want to congratulate you for your Douglas Trojans, and those young men are going to be escorting my young ladies.
Oh, they told me what terrific job they did on last Sunday, and I was sorry that I could not be here because of our musical. But I want to thank the coaches and the fellas for coming out and appearing on your program.
I would like to thank all of you, and what we need to do with those young men is take them to Rose's restaurant and give them some soul food. And incidentally, Mr. Tolliver is going to call me, Mr. Tim Tolliver, and he's going to tell me what Douglas High School is going to do for their state champions. Now, I know one thing. If Grayson had won a state championship, I can see the caddies now. I can see Gladys Elliott. You have never seen anything. If Grayson would win a championship, nobody would have to ask us to do anything for our young people. But I'm going to see what Mr. Tim Tolliver and those Douglas graduates are always running their mouths, talk about what they're going to do, and especially Mr. Reese. And Calvin Looper. What are you going to do for the champions?
Well, what I'm going to do for the state champions is, one, be extremely proud of them, look forward to them.
Proud of them.
Well, I want to see them.
That's
just talk. But then I'm worried about the fact that they may one day change the name of Douglas High School, maybe to Martin Luther King High School, or probably what they'll do before then is change the name on the street from Eastern Avenue to Douglas to Martin Luther King. But we never know about that.
We're
going to talk about some state champions.
No, you're trying to get away from the subject.
I'm trying to get away.
If those champions were from Grayson High School, Gladys Elliott, all of the caddies,
we threw
all of the Tuggles,
we threw with Grayson High School. There were 5 of you that graduated, and we did better than change the name.
I graduated at the top of my
school.
class. I was in the top 5 of my class. That's one thing for sure. As I look at the clock on the wall, though, I know it's time for me to go to say goodbye. And I really hate to say goodbye to those of you out in Radio Land because I don't want to forget anything. I want you to know that I love you, and I'll see you at St. John's Baptist Church on Thursday night. Bye-bye, darling. I'll be calling you tomorrow for your tickets to Miss Black Oklahoma. Clara Luper reporting KAEZ Radio here in Oklahoma City.
The views expressed in the program just heard were